Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Grimmy Stone Rule Well, and to the Akim Akwat throughout the four corners of the earth, observing and embracing the whole gospel of Hamashiach Yahushai, sincerity and truth. Yeah, so this so-called controversy, man, that Sikari keep pushing as far keeping the laws. It's just absurd, man. It's so simple, to see what the scripture tells you. The Lord knows you, knows you, and He won't give you onto a pressure that's beyond your handling. So why would you want to go beyond that? That the Lord has already set for you. The Lord knows that we're in captivity. He knows that we're poor and destitute nation, and all we have to go by are His words. We don't control resources like we do. We're not the world power. We're just in captivity till the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai delivers us. We're still gonna be on the plantation. That's one thing. That these so-called keepers of the law don't really understand. When you're not in a position of power, you can't make no demands. You can't set up your own agenda and think it's gonna fly, in the face of your oppressor. And that's the reason why, the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua learned how to operate without causing much of a stir. He didn't bring shame to the ministry. He didn't set undue burdens upon his followers. All he did was preach to them that faith is what is needed. So there's an easy way, and that's the way of Hamashiach Yahushua to get things done, man. Don't get yourself into a tight position, into a corner where you think that you have to be 100% perfect. You can't be 100% perfect, keeping the law. All you have is faith, to anchor you down, with the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua. All right. So Luke chapter 18 verse 9 says this. This is what Yahushua, was about to make known to the people and his apostles. And he spake this parable, unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. All right. So always remember that, man. In these days and times, we're gonna have folks that have this so-called high-minded mindset, thinking that by them able to keep the law perfect, keep the law, that they're better off than those that are not being able to, despite them trying. All right. So verse 10 says, 2 men went up into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee and the other a publican. All right. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. It says, Almighty power, I thank thee that I am not as the other men are. All right. Extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican standing afar off would not lift up so much as his eyes to heaven, but smote his breast, saying, Yahweh, Hashem Ashai Bashim Kadash, be merciful to me, a sinner. Alright? And verse 14 says this: I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. And that's a simple, diagnosis of this so-called, situation that folks think they can keep the laws, So I'm going to pull up that old precept. Let's see how it pulls up. So this is this right there. Psalms chapter 34 verse 18. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. Alright? So that's the mindset you need to be acquainted with, man. That you're not perfect, that you're working on getting there, through faith, that the Lord will have mercy upon you. And then Psalms 51 says this. Psalms 51 and 17. The sacrifices of Yahweh are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O Yahweh, thou wilt not despise. See that? So that goes to show you that that's what the Lord HaMashiach Yahushua is concerned with, man. That mindset of always asking the Lord for mercy and doing the best that you can according to your ability to hold on to the promises of Lord HaMashiach Yahushua. Alright. Yeah. And look at that. Isaiah 57 verse 15. For thus said the high and lofty one that inhabiteth in eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place, with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. What does the scripture say there in Luke chapter 18? It says the Most High, exalted the humble, and he abases the proud. So it's that clear. There's nothing we can do to make ourselves of that number, call ourselves righteous, man. That's why it's important, man, to understand that mindset of having a contrite spirit. And look at another one, Isaiah chapter 66 verse 2. For all those things hath my hand made, and all those things have been, said the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashai Bashim Kakadash. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. What else? What else? Do we have to say? The word of the Lord has made it clear, man. You gotta have faith in the Lord. You gotta accept the words of the Lord HaMashiach Yahushua, that you can't get these things done by works. It's true faith. And when you read the book of Galatians chapter 2, and then you look at verse 16, it also, gives you clues along that line. It's saying this: knowing that the man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of HaMashiach Yahushua. Even we have believed in HaMashiach Yahushua, that we might be justified by the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Yeah, so the Lord is looking for those that have faith in Him. Not for those that think they could go about creating their own righteousness. It's that simple. And then another one's from the book of Galatians chapter 3 verse 11 says, but that no man is justified by the law in the sight of Yahweh. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. Alright? And that is what we have to accept. And then verse 12 says, and the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. Alright? So it's a way of showing your actions. So it's a way of practicing and rehearsing the righteous acts. That's all we can do. Rehearse. Practice. As you understand the reason why you keep a law, you continue to get the wisdom. You build from there. You're building up your faith. All right. And then final precept be from the book of Ephesians chapter 2. And then you read verse 8 and verse 9. It says, for by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of Yahweh B'Shem Shai B'Shem Kadash, not of works, lest any man should boast. See? So that's simple right there, man. It's all easy. Simple precept. Milk out of the scriptures, man. It lets you know what the Lord is looking for, and that's about it. So there is no need for a lengthy discussion as per how to keep the law and all that stuff, man. You gotta have faith, because when your pocket is empty, there's certain laws you cannot keep, man. When you're short on cash, your funds are low in the bank, that prevents you from keeping certain laws. When those high holidays come up, you can't get the supplies you need, and then you still have to do the ordinances of the society you live in and all that stuff. So just understand, man. It's about understanding why the law was put in place and why the Lord had to give us that avenue of faith. All right. So that was upon the Akim Abaratazar. We continue to build up our faith in the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua and his words. And till then, hey, Shalom.